This area, the region of Cappadocia, is a UNESCO heritage site, and there are a number of open-air museums in this area. And Cappadocia is world famous with its, first of all, landscape, the lunar landscape, and its fairy chimneys, and it's of course its vast cultural heritage, historic heritage in the region. We are talking about here about a heritage that dates back to Hittites, predates even Hittites, but also is very significant in terms of the 9th to the 13th century Christian civilizations who have established monastic lifestyles in Cappadocia and who have established and founded thousands of underground churches, cities, and rock-carved churches, and with beautiful frescoes, and of course have left behind a rich heritage and culture. When you talk about Cappadocia, you're talking about a number of very specific places that a lot of people probably will have heard of or will remember. First one is the Goreme Open Air Museum. It's a monastic site, again, with a number of churches, and they're world-famous churches. That's one area, Goreme Open Air Museum. And then we have a number of underground cities, which also are left behind from the 13th century, 9th to 13th century civilizations, such as the Derinkuyu underground city, or the Kaymakli underground city, or Ozkanak underground city. So these will be dwellings and cities up to 7 to 9 floors below the surface, where people took refuge and people established actually a communal lifestyle. The other thing then about Cappadocia is various valleys. For example, one of them would be the Ihlara Valley, which is a valley which sort of resembles almost the Grand Canyon. It's a much smaller version of it, but it actually has also a huge number of churches, rock-carved churches with beautiful frescoes, colorful frescoes, and it's also a very interesting place for walkers and trekkers. These are the places like one will easily remember from Cappadocia. But then the towns like Urgup, Avanos. For example, Avanos is a town which practices a pottery making skill and technique that's dating up to 2,000-3,000 years ago, right? And the families have been making pottery in Avanos, and they have been using the techniques that still to this date using the techniques as they used to 2,000-3,000 years ago. I mean, pottery craft shops in Avanos are amazing, and the craftsmanship and artistry is amazing in Avanos. So these are the sort of highlights of Cappadocia, really, other than the sort of the landscape in general. And when you take a balloon trip, for example, you will see the valleys and the fairy chimneys and the different sites, monastic sites. One, for example, is another one is the town of Zelve, which is another ancient town with hundreds of dwellings and churches. So these are the highlights of Cappadocia.